All right, so today, just the last few things I wanted to say about some of the fossil hominids we're looking at. Here is Dmanissi. Everybody's quite interested in Dmanissi for very good reason. It's 1.8 million, and it's Homo of some variety out of Africa. And you've all mentioned it in your first paper. And what I wanted to show you was how unusual it really is. Look at the cranial capacity, as you know, something on the order of 600 cc's. Very different from 1,000 cc's typically for Homo erectus. And yet dated contemporaneously with earliest Homo erectus of sort of classic Homo erectus of Africa at 1.8 million. For example, the 3733 specimen from Lake Turkana in Kenya. Here is, well, this one is very interesting. Some say it's Australopithecus africanus. Some say that this is early Homo habilis. For the moment, for the purposes of this quick video, I'm going to call this Homo habilis, and look how similar it is to the Dmanissi specimen. Difficult to tell apart, really. And look how different, though. Dmanissi is from a contemporaneous, that is exactly the same date, Homo erectus. This is the one that I just mentioned, 3733 from Lake Turkana, Kenya, dated at 1.8 million, probably female Homo erectus. Very much smaller cranial capacity in Dmanissi. So Dmanissi is very interesting. Almost impossible to get past the impression with Dmanissi that it's something of a vampire. It's got these two canines that are very prominent. They're only prominent, though, because the other teeth have fallen out and you can't, they're not sort of covering those teeth up. Anyway, that's Dmanissi, very interesting one. This is a cast of only one of the, I believe, 5 skulls so far found at Dmanissi. You know Neanderthal now rather well. You've read a paper by Ian Tattersall. I wanted to go over a couple of the basic features of the skull very, very quickly. You know that there is a rather heavily constructed brow ridge. I was saying that that has something to do with the biomechanical chewing stresses. You know that there is this inflated nasal region. We don't know if that has to do with cold adaptation or not. Some say yes, some say no. Very difficult to say. You know that the teeth are not particularly distinctive except in their wear patterns, and you can see here that the teeth are rounded and worn down on this specimen from La Ferrassie, but well, I should say many, I don't know the numbers, many of the Neanderthal teeth are worn down like this, as though they had been used as a sort of tool. They've been clamping down with their teeth on something. From the side, the main characteristic you can see is the lack of the frontal lobe in the brain. Yes, there is a frontal lobe, but it's not as developed as you can see in modern Homo. Anatomically modern Homo sapiens sapiens. From the rear, you can see not as sort of box-like as we see in Homo erectus, more sort of rounded, or embombed is the French term. You can also see a distinctive occipital bun. This is a large bony process on the back and rear of the lower portion of the skull. Nobody's really sorted this one out either. There are distinctive nuchal ridges here for the attachment of muscles that hold the neck back, or hold the head back when you want to look up, for example. You're using those nuchal muscles. Those are particularly well developed in Neanderthal. From the underside, one very distinctive characteristic, the foramen magnum is relatively long from front to back. Again, a characteristic of Neanderthal, but not very well understood. That's all I really wanted to say. Just wanted to rush you through those very few characteristics. I think I'm out of videotape right now, so we'll leave it there and come back to it if I do have more. One more thing to mention. Many of the Neanderthal specimens show some kind of trauma to their bones. On La Ferrassie here, you can see this notch in this in the side of the orbit here. That is believed to be some kind of injury. La Ferrassie also has, like I said, these worn teeth. Sometimes the teeth even have cut marks on them from a piece of stone, as though they were using a stone blade to cut meat, for example, as they're processing it with their teeth.